rain came over the weekend or something overnight, just to make sure everything was good. Anybody else have anything, any input? All right, well, let's just keep an eye on it and go, and we'll, if there's anything else comes up, somebody, you know, hopefully they'll give us a call. Flooding impact between Talbot Farm and Route 140. Peter, did you go by there?
Yes, I went by a couple times, and I sent an email, or I had our clerk send out an email to the rest of the board. And I'm sorry I didn't take pictures, but yes, there's a little erosion in the extreme down slope of the new power plant there, the solar panels. But that's not a big issue. Next door to it, and not the ball fields, the soccer fields, they might have got more flow than what their plans called for, but I didn't see any erosion. But between Gasco, what used to be Westway, I guess, and the other Gasco, there's a road that goes down. That whole hillside has been cleared, grubbed, stumped, and set for an industrial development. But I didn't see any detention ponds, i.e. settling ponds. And someone had put erosion control at the downstream of the hill, but 5 acres of silt overpowered it in multiple places, and I'm believing affected at least a half acre of forested wetland. So I put in a call to, I didn't hear from any of you guys, I had asked the DEP to be CC'd. I called Denise Child yesterday, haven't heard back from her. So I don't know what to do.
Okay, so I saw that there was somebody down there. I think Tim had gone there and talked to somebody, and he did tell them that they had to, you know, fix the siltation and put some sort of check dams to keep the water from sheet flowing down into that wetland at the bottom. There is I know because I know the property a little bit from years back when Abe Rosenfeld owned it. There, I think at the end of the road, there is at the very bottom of the pavement, there is a detention basin there, maybe grown in by now. I mean, that was 15, 20 years ago. But
sorry, Mr. Chairman, there's no pavement. And they might have dug out a little depression, but I wouldn't call it a detention.
There's no pavement there anymore?
Not that I saw. They had a lot of machines, and it looked to me like maybe it's covered up in stone, gravel, but
see, that's
well, I went down a month ago when it was still covered in ice. And so it's only...
yeah, you're right.
But,
I haven't been there. I haven't been down there in ages, but I did see a motor grader coming out of there yesterday, and I know that they were trying to resolve the issue after Tim had mentioned it to him. So I'll have to try. I gotta have to try to get down there tomorrow and see if we can and make sure that there's no more damage happening.
Right. Well, I'm not sure because I had heard not directly from Tim, but that he had gone to look at the solar panels, and there was some small stuff there that should be fixed, but it ain't 1/100th of the impact of clearing. Must be 5 acres.
That's been like that. That's been cleared for 20 years like that.
I remember going down with Rosenfeld owned it, and only the first part had been cleared. Well, I don't know. It's been shaped recently. There's not a green thing on it. So if it had happened 10 years ago, you would have thought something would have grown there.
Yeah, right. So maybe they did do some stuff recently, but I know that for the longest time, there was just piles of dirt down there. But either way, we'll get it. Hopefully DEP will have an answer for us too.
Is there
Well,
an
right,
open
because
order?
there's no sign. They put up erosion control, but I don't think they have an order of condition. So I know they're doing work within 100 feet, and it got away from them. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe we should get a letter to them. Do we know who the owner is? Is that owner of that Gasco?
No, well, I don't know. It's a company name, and the guy lives in West Street in Milford. Ask our clerk if he got sent a letter.
Yeah, hold on one second. No, I did not, I have not issued any communication on that property yet, but I'm looking up the, name. Sorry. Oh, we're talking about Gold Medalist LLC in Milford, Mass?
Okay, yeah, I think that's Gasco, so
That's, 23 Cape Road.
maybe we should get a letter to them that they need to follow up with this at the next meeting.
Okay.
And not do any, not do any work until then, other than, maybe fixing the silt fence that has been knocked down.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'd like to get, action before the next meeting, but, I can talk to you about that offline.
Right, because at some point, they're going to have to hire a consultant, document the damage to the wetlands, and then come up with a plan for restoration. So whether DEP takes it over or we try to do it, we need to move quick. So whatever letter you send, please CC DEP.
All right.
Is there a notice of intent been filed on that?
So there are two files. Wait a minute, I want to make sure I'm not confused about this because there is confusion about several properties with old files. For 23 Cape, there were two files. Dan pulled them to take a look at them. One was from 2004, the other one was 2011. And we did not see any certificates of compliance.
Well, obviously they're expired.
Right.
All right, well, let's see if we can, do we have a phone, was that for gold medalists or was that for Abe Rosenfeld?
I believe Abe Rosenfeld, that rings a bell. I'm pretty sure that's of that era.
That probably was, yes.
Yeah.
And wasn't it a plan for industrial village or something that didn't get built?
Yeah, correct. I couldn't tell whether it was something that was proposed and then abandoned or, yeah, that's correct, Peter. Whoops.
Well, you know what, look, I'll see if I can get a hold of somebody. I'll go over to the gas station and see if I can get a hold of, get a phone number for the guy that owned that, because that guy has been in front of planning board. Abe has been in front of planning board a couple different times. So I see if I can get a hold of him and maybe we can get this resolved before, instead, like you said, instead of waiting till the next meeting.
Okay.
So he can come in front of us at the next meeting with a plan of what he's gonna do to address these problems.
Yeah, the guy's name, I got it from the assessors, Abraham Dredge.
Oh, that's right.
J-R-E-I-J.
Yeah, that is him then, okay. All right, well, I'll work on that tomorrow.
Okay.
We got a 7:15 public hearing.
So, is the applicant online with us?
Yes.
If not, just, I think it was yesterday, I got a letter from NHESP, basically saying that their application is still incomplete. So even if you do have a hearing tonight, it sounds like we need to, continue it to see how they're gonna correct whatever needs to be done to address, national heritage.
Is there anybody online for 27 Park Street?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, is this Margaret?
Yes.
We can hear you, Margaret.
Okay. That's the first I heard of the natural heritage request. I haven't seen anything here. Say they were looking for
Okay,
information.
I can tell you who it was mailed to, but if you want to go ahead with your presentation, I'm going to try to put up the plan here.
Okay.
I'm
And
having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. If you could, sometimes you're really loud and clear and sometimes you're not.
Okay, how's this right here?
That's great.
way better. Thank you, Margaret. Oops,
Uh,
now you're cutting out again. Try it. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, you want me to wait till you get the plan up?
No, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just, I have to fumble around here for a few minutes, so forgive me while I do it, but go ahead.
Okay, just for the record, Margaret Bacon. I'm an engineer with Civil Site Engineering, and I'm here requesting an order of conditions for my client, Alexis Hyde, to construct a single-family home, septic system, driveway, and well. Some of the works within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Margaret,
Yep.
excuse me. It sounds like there's some kind of echo in the room or with your mic or computer or something that's actually sort of like self-muting you, if you will. I don't know if that's anything you can recognize and correct, but you're kind of going in and out. The louder you talk, the more it seems to have an effect.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I'll
like,
try to,
it's almost like an echo.
really, still getting an echo now?
I just can't even hear you. It's just going, every other word is going in and out.
Yeah, it goes loud, then soft, as though your own speaker is feeding back into your mic or something like that. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Can I call on the phone?
Absolutely, you can. Do you have that access information?
No, you want to give it to me?
I can. It's up on the screen, actually.
All right,
You ready, Margaret?
yeah,
Okay, the phone number is 347-467-1434. And when you join, let me know when you want that conference ID number. You ready?
hold on.
Yeah.
I had to dial 1 first. Okay, what is it?
Oh, oops. Now I just covered up my own thing. Hold on one second. Sorry. That's terrible. Oh, man. I'm having so much fun right here. Okay, here we go. 990-008-712 pound.
Okay, what were the last numbers?
The last set of numbers was 712 pound.
Okay. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so do you want me to start from the beginning?
No, go ahead. We know who you are. Thank you. 27 Park Street. I'm going to put up the plan in just a second.
Okay.
Somebody's got to mute. We got like kitchen noises and such. Please. Thank you.
Okay, so, so we're here, we're gonna be doing a proposed public hearing. I'm sorry, public hearing for a proposed, can you put that back up?
Oh, you mean the, yeah, I'm sorry there, Damon. Hold on one
That's
second.
all right, I
Yeah,
can get
you're
it on
looking,
my phone.
you're looking for this right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to read this so everybody knows what's going on.
Yep.
So we got a notice of intent for proposed single-family house at 27 Park Street, Freeman Place, DEP number 218-0809. And I'm assuming this lady is from Civil Site Engineering?
Yeah, that's Margaret, it's Margaret Bacon.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Go ahead,
All right,
Margaret.
go ahead, Margaret.
Okay, yeah, I'm here representing Alexis Heiser for a proposed house and septic and driveway. The address is 27 Park Street, but they will be accessing this parcel from the end of Freeman Place. Back in November, we went before the zoning board and got a special permit to reduce the frontage so that they could access through Freeman Place. Along Park Street, they have a lot of frontage, but it's all wetlands, and then it's rare species habitat. So by accessing at the end of the terminus at Freeman Place, we are able to access this parcel without any wetland impacts, just in the outer 100-foot buffer zone, as you can see. So you can see on the plan, I have the wetlands, I have the 50-foot buffer zone, which is kind of in orange, and then the 100-foot buffer zone is the second orange line. And then if you scroll that plan up a little, you can see the septic system designed for a 4-bedroom house there. It's not a very big house with a garage and the upper limits there. And due to the high groundwater, we had groundwater at about 24 inches, so it is a raised system. And utilizing a membrane to help minimize the amount of grading and spread of the system. And so yeah, so we did file. We sent the notice of intent to the DEP. I didn't see any comments back from the DEP. They did issue a number. We did send it to Natural Heritage since we were right close to the rare species habitat. So this was the first I heard that they were looking for some additional information, and you can provide that to me. And then we also, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then the third one too is I'm still waiting to get a final approval from the Board of Health for the septic.
Okay. I mean, if you want, I can put up what I got. It was sent to Civil Site Engineering, but I noticed that your name was not on the distribution list. It was apparently sent to one of your engineers, perhaps?
Yeah, what was the date?
I think I got it yesterday. I'm still looking for it on my machine here. Oh, here it
Okay,
is
well,
right here. Here it is right here. I've got it.
Yep. Okay.
Actually, it's showing on. It's being shared on the screen now. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So if you look down at the bottom, it says file incomplete.
Okay. Does it say what they're looking for?
Yeah, it's a couple pages here. So
Oh,
additional information required.
sure.
Okay, it says they've determined that the proposed project is located within the map priority and estimated habitat of eastern box turtle. I'm scanning. Letters to inform you that the division has determined that your application review under 321 CMR 1018 is incomplete because it does not contain all the minimum information specified. Consequently, following information must be submitted.
Okay.
Mesa filing, percentage acreage of property to be altered, photographs representing the site,
Okay.
plus.
Sure. Not a problem. So I just haven't received that letter yet. If you just got it, then I'll probably get it tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I will address all their comments, and I'll CC you, the board. And then I didn't think you were going to be able to close the hearing tonight anyways, because I'm still waiting on the Board of Health. So I can open it up, see if the board has any other comments.
Yeah, once you get everything straightened out with them, then we can set it for the next meeting. Does anybody? Where is the well on this property? Oh, I see it. I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like to have. I mean, I know you're a ways away, but we like to have a sump dug around where the well is being drilled, and silt fence and hay bales around so nothing gets away from anything. That's kind of one of our things in the Mendon Conservation.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, Peter, with a quick question. If you could scroll down to the bottom of the driveway, and I gather the slope is higher on the right and going down left, but that's a heck of a cut going up to the cul-de-sac. Is that a cut down so the cul-de-sac sits higher, or which way am I looking at?
No, yeah, it's actually a fill. So right off at the end of that cul-de-sac, it drops rather quickly. So I designed a driveway that I think I probably have maybe an 8 to 10% slope right there in the beginning. I had to bring in some fill. So actually those lines, that driveway is going to be elevated over existing.
Okay, so what's the height of that over the existing at its highest spot?
Okay, so I'm just looking, let's see, 418. At one spot, it's 418, about 4 feet. At one of the highest, 5 feet. 5 feet. There's another one. Yeah, at the steepest place. Now, I have a stone wall I put along the edge of the driveway to help eliminate the amount of fill. So
on the downstream side, I see that.
Yeah,
the slope of the driveway is not what bothers me so much as the slope of the banks of the driveway, because that almost looks like what's the grade on that? 2 to 1?
I think it's 2 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 to 1.
So how are you going to finish that?
Well, there's several things I can do. I know what I've done in wetland crossings, as you can do plantings. I always prefer the softer approach than rock, or you could always grade it out to 3 to 1, but then it's just a lot more disturbance. So I think plantings would give you a stable slope at 2 to 1.
I like plantings if they're considered for maintenance purposes and long-term thought and good stuff. I would rather that than riprap, but I'd much rather prefer a 3 to 1 than a 2 to 1. But if we're at habitat issues, the compromise to me sounds like a nice vegetative plan.
Okay, well, let me take a look at that, and I'll revise the plan before the next meeting, and see if the board would be acceptable to the board with certain types of plantings.
You okay with that, Pete?
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Do we want to make a motion to continue this meeting to continue this to the next meeting? And
So moved.
Is there a second?
Peter seconds.
Everybody roll call, please. David
Peter
Tenio,
Coffey,
Mike
aye.
Mangalia, aye.
Yep, I heard Mike and Peter.
Damon, aye. Anybody else?
I know we got somebody, else out there.
Who's the fourth person out here?
It's, Bill Ayton.
Bill, you want to turn your volume on?
Oh, he might be muted. He probably has to unmute himself. Let me go back over there. There was a lot of noise, so I had to, what do you call it? Like universally mute people. He should be here. Wave to us, Bill. Sorry, I'm fumbling around. I'm trying to get this done. I'm sorry, guys. Usually we have somebody that's can control the screen while I'm busy doing other things here. So I'm not used to navigating all the options here. Sorry. Well, here we go. Sharing options. Yeah, I don't know how you want to leave this, Mr. Chair.
Oh,
I can't see how Bill's connected to us.
no.
Well, the motion was to continue it.
Yeah, correct. So-
Arguably, we don't have a quorum now, but that's the sense, and I don't think, hopefully, the applicant's going to complain. I don't know what other business we have tonight, whether hopefully we can still conduct it, but.
Yeah, nothing that really needs a vote, Peter. I mean, we can, most of what we have to talk about can be done with informal discussion that doesn't require a quorum.
Well,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would recommend that we continue on in that light. And
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Just,
Okay, so I'm gonna take this off.
you know, that
I'm gonna
meeting, we'll continue this hearing until then, though, right?
Yeah, most of the people that are tuned into this meeting are all here to talk about encroachments into Gaskill Conservation. You probably heard my informal comments to them before the meeting, but obviously I'd prefer the commission take over. So I don't know if you want to just handle them one at a time, or I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so let's start with Pond Meadow Estates.
Right.
How many people do we have here for Pond Meadow Estates?
I can tell you we have someone here from 12 Pond Street, 4 Pond Street, 2 Pond Street, and 54 George.
All right, so let's start with 54 George Street.
Okay, you with us still, folks?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
All right, so 54 George Street, what was the issue on their property? Did you get a letter, ma'am?
Yes. Wood
And-
pile on the
Yeah.
property.
Right, and some structure like a hut or a shed, or I'm not
Oh,
sure
okay,
what it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so as you know now, I guess that it's on the town property.
Yep.
Who's this? Is that Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you gonna be able to resolve that, Bruce, or is that, how's that?
I
work?
started taking the wood out of there. I haven't had a chance to move the buildings. Like, it's a 20-foot, it's one of them shelters that just sits on top of the ground.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's probably 3 feet over the property line. The wood pile, there's 3 or 4. There was 3 piles of wood, firewood that was all cut and stacked. So there's one that's just about gone. I got the other 2 that I have to remove.
All right, so that's
Great.
at least you're aware of it. You're gonna work with everybody on that.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
yep.
Okay, and that's it. I mean, as long as you understand and that there is people out there checking these things.
Yep.
But all right, well, we appreciate your understanding and just do what you
No
can to get it resolved.
Nope, we'll have it done in the next couple weeks, I would think.
great.
No problem at all.
Thanks.
Everybody okay with that on the board?
I'm fine with that.
I see Ann Mazar has her hand up.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Ann Mazar, 50 Pleasant Street. I just wanted to say that at the annual town meeting, we are asking for funds to survey that border so neighbors will know where their backlots are, because some of the neighbors were asking, saying that they didn't know where that border was, and we're just trying to define the open space edges more clearly.
So you're gonna ask for
For funding to mark the borders on that
who are you
side.
gonna ask for funding for that?
From the land bank, Mendon Land Bank.
All right, sounds good. And Sue, I'm sorry, Bill, next was that, you said 2 Pond Street or 4 Pond Street?
Yes, both. How about two?
Okay.
How about 2 Pond Street?
All right, 2 Pond Street, you out there?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. This is the property that has arborvitaes that are planted both on their own property and some that are planted into the open space.
What a shame. Could have got open space, the trees are planted and what are they want to do? Make them take them down?
Yeah, that's why I told them.
You told them you're gonna take them down?
No, I says it's just a tree. We just did it as nothing like construction or nothing going on over there. So we just put couple trees on it, like a privacy plant they call, nothing construction style or nothing. And I believe when we did it, we are on impression that's our property, but we just find out, but we don't have a line where is our property end. But as of builder, that was my property. So, and I checked with Bruce, the 54 George Street, and he was there when we planned this one, and he thought on the same impression on the middle was mine. But
Yeah.
you guys can help us out.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, Ann, do you have your hand raised because of these trees too, Ann?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
the survey line will also cover their backyard. It is a weird kind of pointy edge of the open space. So then they'll know which arborvitaes they need to move. And the plants are fairly new, so they probably have not rooted out that much, so they could move them onto their property. They're not native, and so, you know, they shouldn't be on the open space.
What a shame. Okay.
Yeah, I think they can be moved, though.
Yeah, of course
How-
they can.
Damon, Peter Coffin here.
Yeah,
It seems to me there are two significant issues on all of these properties.
Yeah.
One was that the wall wasn't put where it should have been. So I'm assuming that is the developer's fault or his engineer.
that's
So the
10
people who
Pond Street,
bought
yeah.
are not really at fault.
No,
So if we can't be too hard on them, but at the same point, what's open space is open space, and there is a clear line that's on their deed. Now the question is, do we have to pay for a surveyor to find out where that exactly is? Metacomet has that great program that showed roughly where the line should be. So I don't know if everyone has been sent that. That to me was pretty self-explanatory about the issue. So then each one we have to look at, is it best left as is because we're going to cause a little mucking around? Or is it best for the turtles that it be left in a natural? Or is there some compromise? I don't know what we're
right,
going to do.
and that's where I mean, like, these trees are a couple of feet over the line. They're nowhere near down the bottom where the turtles are. And we're gonna go in there and make them dig holes up, move them 2 feet. I mean, they're trees. It's not a shed. It's not a building. They're gonna grow. You know, I mean, I mean, I understand they're in the wrong spot. He didn't do it. He didn't do it on purpose. I mean, granted, he should have got an engineer, a surveyor to survey his land before he put them up, instead of just winging it and listening to the builder. But again,
Why don't we wait and see what the town meeting does, if it authorizes money to be spent, and wait and see. There's no sense going out digging holes and guessing again.
yeah, I agree.
Mr. Chair, if I could just, for everybody's edification, Peter mentioned the photographs that Metacomet produced for when they did their research, and it's made with a really precision GPS, so it plots a visual line down, overlaid on a photograph. But I asked specifically if I could share those with the residents, and I was told no, not until that report is made, like public. So it could be that we can get our hands on those and share those with folks. I just wasn't able to do that yet.
Do we want to continue going down those owners who are here now, and they can each
Sure.
Yep.
talk about their situation?
How about 4 Pond Street, please?
Chairman,
Go ahead.
before you further, where
Sure.
we stand on 2 Pond Street, just makes to understand everything what we talk now. We doing anything on 2 Pond Street, or we just keep as is for now?
keep as is for now until after the town meeting, and we'll see what the fix is
Yes.
going to be.
Because
Sounds
I,
good. I was muted.
I heard some mixed opinion because of that few tree on a 1 foot or 2 foot here and there. Before we do anything, I need to ask you guys. That's why.
Yeah, I think that we're gonna hold off until we go to town meeting, and if they allocate the money to have somebody come and survey the land, everybody's back property that abuts the town land, then you'll know exactly where your property is, and then you can move on from there.
No, I understand, but only one I had admit. I never see any turtle habitat between me and Bruce 54 George Street behind it.
No, there
we
isn't
can
any up there.
we can happy to move that couple feet or whatever my border line is. But if there is no turtle habitat over there, then why bother to move the tree? Yes, if it's a construction shade, we can happy to just demolish, but we never did anything like that.
No, you're good. Just hold off until we give you any more information after the town meeting.
Good,
Mr.
perfect.
Kaufman,
Thank you. I
just
appreciate it.
general information about the turtles, the habitat. There's a specific habitat where they dig out and nest, but they will come from all around and crawl through the woods, through your backyard. So it's which habitat are we talking about? It's all potentially, I think,
Well,
turtle habitat.
2 Pond Street, Peter, is at the very top. Bruce Clifton's house is on George Street. I mean, it's like right at the point of that property, the very top. Yeah, maybe, I'm sure turtles do roam around. They probably go across the street from your house and in the cemetery too. But I guess we're just more concerned about what we want to do with these people. If they have a couple of trees that are on the property, on the town land, 2 feet. Are we gonna have them go in there and start disturbing the area and digging holes? And ripping up the trees, or are we decided to let them stay there? I guess we just gotta get the surveying done, if that's what the next step is, and then everybody can do what then they'll know, and there'll be no more excuses. Does that sound right or no?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, thank you.
What's now, 4 Pond Street?
Yep. So the report on that one was about a simple thing of just having lawn clippings that are dumped on, over the property line into the open space.
Okay, so, once again, no, I mean, if you know where your lot line is, please do not dump the lawn clippings on the town land.
Right, simple.
Okay. Are they there? Are they?
Yeah, this is Jason. I'm here.
Hi, Jason.
Okay, so do you know where your lot line is?
I do. So I began removing them myself, and it was a little too much to do manually. So I spoke with someone today about getting some assistance removing that. So we'll take care of that.
Okay. Thank
Great,
you very
thank
much
you.
for your help.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks for hanging in there for the meeting too. Do we have any
Sure.
other residents on the line?
Yes,
Who's-
hi. 12 Pond Street?
Yep, go ahead, sir. So let's see, hold on one second. Trying to remember what we wrote to you about, or did we?
No, we didn't. We just wanted to be a part of this as it involves our neighbors.
Okay, very good. Do you have any specific questions, sir?
Yeah, it would be, somebody mentioned earlier, I don't know if you're the chair or somebody else, about the property lines, if those were done by the builder, in terms of their responsibility for that versus the responsibility of the owners.
Well, when you build it, when you get you buy the house, you usually get a plan that shows,
Have that, yes.
like an as-built plan that shows you where your house and your lot lines are.
Right.
And so it's the homeowner's responsibility to maintain, any structures or wood piles or, whatever, trees, they're supposed to stay on the property, within the lot lines of your property, fences,
Yes,
whatever.
Yeah, but I was wondering why somebody earlier made the comment about not being too harsh on the owners because it was the builders like they were all responsibility for where exactly the property lines end or start or whatever.
Peter
Well,
Coffin, that was me, and that's probably at the end of the cul-de-sac where a fence had originally proposed, and the Concom asked for a stone wall instead, and there's parts of that I think are in the wrong spot.
I see.
Not
yeah,
the other parts.
the wall. The retaining wall I think at the end is maybe 10 Pond Street. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's the one that's that was put in by the builder. But we're talking about after you had purchased the home, if there was a fence put in, or if there was trees put up, lawn clippings being dumped on somebody else's property, whatever it is. The stuff that has happened while you own the house, you're responsible for, keeping 2 feet off the lot line with your fence so you can maintain it without being on somebody else's property. There's a few different things, ways of doing things. And that, I guess, is, so in this situation,
yeah. I just
it's,
have RN,
go ahead.
Paul Ponch. Is there anything else in this development that the builder has to take care of or fix?
He's working on. There's
Yes.
some issues being taken care of right now that he had encroached onto the town's property with the retaining wall. There's a lot of things down in that bottom there that need to be addressed more so than, some grass clippings is least of the worries right now. But we're just trying to let everybody know that lives there. I know it looks like it might be okay to go 3 feet over there or 4 feet over there, because nobody's ever going to do anything with it. But unfortunately, the only thing you can do is enjoy the privacy of not having somebody built in your backyard. You can't put trees up. You can't put piles of wood. You can't put sheds. Those are the things that, unfortunately, you can't use the property for. I mean, it would be great, but in this situation, it really can't be done.
Has this subdivision been accepted by the town yet?
No.
So there's still a
It
bond.
will not be accepted by the town until they resolve the encroachment with the retaining walls and stuff.
Okay, so the town still, the planning board is still holding to the bond?
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the bond is held. The road will not be accepted until everything gets taken care of on the other side, and that's going to turn into. I don't think it's going to be the easiest thing to do right now. So hopefully, between the builder and the Metacomet and everybody can work together and hopefully come up with a, with the least intrusive way of causing any, damage to the people that live there, the land, the people that live there, and the turtle habitat and everything.
So this is Jason from Four Pond again. Just a question around as far as the builder's responsibility, is the encroachments the only thing that's left on there? And the reason I ask is that in the past couple of years, anytime the builder has to come out and do something, he doesn't really notify us. He just comes onto our property and starts digging. So just trying to get an idea if there's anything else that we need to be prepared of that they won't tell us and they just come and start digging.
Unfortunately, I mean, we don't really have control of how the builder represents himself until the only thing I can say is when the town accepts the road, if anybody is going to go on your property from the town, I'm sure they will knock on your door, or you will be notified in writing. But in this situation, kind of tough for us to get involved because we're trying to resolve issues with him also.
Right. That's what I'm asking though. Like if we were, so for instance, the drainage, so we're up at the top. So the drainage comes through our property and then down behind our back line. So let's say that if there's still an issue with drainage that he needs to resolve, then we would know, okay, well, he's going to come and start digging. But if you can say, well, nope, the drainage is fine, then we don't have to worry about that.
Well, there's a drainage easement, you know, if it does go through your property. I mean, I guess if you were concerned about anybody coming working while you're not there, maybe it would be a letter or a phone call to the builder saying, if you're gonna come on my property, you know, you need to contact me and let me know, or give me 24 hours notice. I guess, I don't know, I'm just saying, thinking that out loud. I'm not really, we really don't have any say.
I'd agree with you, Mr. Chair. I would say, though, the good news is I don't think there's any problem with the drainage coming down the road. So you have
That's what I was looking for.
That's what we're trying to get to, the drainage.
I'm not aware of any problems. It's
No,
the wall
but if he
down.
needed to do maintenance to the detention basin before the town accept the road or something like that, if we found something that was wrong there, at the time of acceptance, when we do our final walkthrough, of any wetlands, or if the planning board does their final walkthrough and finds something that needs to be addressed with the catch basins, manholes, drainage detention basin, there could be something that might come up down the road, but as of right now, there is nothing that we know of.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is
Anybody else,
12.
Bill?
Hi, this is 12 Pond again, Mr. Delagianidis. Besides the end of the cul-de-sac that you clarified about the encroachment of the retaining wall, is there possibilities on each property with the deed that we have in hand? Would it not be consistent necessarily with the retaining wall or the wooden sticks that were placed as a plot line? Would those always be consistent with the deed that we have in hand?
Your as-built should show your lot lines, and it would probably give you some sort of a measurement, or if you had to, use a ruler and measure it on the plan, which should show you what, from the corner of your house to your lot line, you should be able to come up with some numbers.
Yep.
That's why the town is gonna work to try to give some back lots that abut the town property eventually. They're gonna try to get you some accurate lot lines in the back. But you should be able to look at your as-built plan and, either talk to a surveyor or figure it out on, talk to somebody that knows how to read a plan and come up with some measurements so that you know exactly where your corners of your lot is.
No, I understand. Thank you. Yeah. So in other words, if I'm understanding you correctly, the sticks that they put there are not necessarily accurate with our lot line deed on our deed.
I don't know. They could be, or somebody could have, picked them up and moved them too. So, I mean, I think you should go, unless you have a concrete bound in each corner of your lot, which I doubt you do. You really need to, probably do a little homework, seeing that there's been multiple violations of encroachment here.
Mrs. Mazar has her hand up, I believe.
Go ahead, Ann.
Hi, there are signs that were put up by the surveyor or the engineers that mark the open space. So behind each of the properties, there's a sign that marks where that open space is. The end where the wall is hasn't been resolved yet, but the other yards do have a sign, or will have one soon.
Sounds great.
Mr. Chair, if I might ask Mrs. Mazar, are those signs right on the line, or they must be inside the open space, correct? They can't be reliable as a lot line. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we had the engineer put them on the lot, where the lot line is exactly. So.
Okay.
So on that question, and I have it, I see the sign where you have on a number 2 Pond Street. I am almost 1 foot on my border line. That means all that few tree we talking about, 2 or 4, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think yours got moved somehow, and that's why we would like to survey it or, get something more accurate on there.
Oh, I didn't touch that sign.
I believe you.
All right, next one, Bill?
Are we all set with residents?
All right, so,
I think so.
I think we addressed everybody there that had any issues, and everybody
Yep.
seems like they're
Is
gonna
it-
work with us.
Is the gentleman from 75 Millville Street still on the line?
I am.
Okay, great. This is a separate letter that I sent out. And if I remember correctly, the report was that just that the lawn was being maintained, beyond the property line into the open space. And, sir, I'm gathering, or I'm figuring that you're gathering from this discussion that this is, just a friendly thing that we're just trying to get people to, stop doing anything to the open space and let it revert. And if there's anything we can do to help you figure out where that line is. But anyway, I'll let you speak for yourself.
Oh, no, I had no idea. I mean, according to Fred at Shea Engineering, he showed me where my property line was. He did the surveying for the Brook Meadowlands. He just did all that. So I guess I just don't know where I'm mowing, and I shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, I don't have any problem not mowing. It's going to save me time and money.
Yeah.
Good answer, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you for your patience in joining us too.
I did send Fred an email asking for an estimate to come out and mark off all my property lines. So, I mean,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm not mowing on your property, but he's gonna try to give me an estimate on what it's gonna come to mark off all my property lines.
Yeah, sorry, I hate to have you spend money to, to figure out a 20 by 40 area that you might be mowing that you're not supposed to be. It's really very unfortunate for that. Ann, go ahead.
It is currently marked. You don't need to survey it. There was like posts that were put in, and I'm not sure. I can't remember who did it. I think it might have been Gary and Halnan.
Okay.
Well, I know the signs out back, which I don't even mow 200 feet near there, where the park starts. But there's none on the side from Millville Street, is facing my house on the street on the left. There's a stone wall. That's my property line. I never mowed over the stone wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your property line isn't to the stone wall, though. That's the problem.
Okay. I mean, you guys don't have any signs or anything there, though?
No, but Metacomet, like I said, we had the surveying done, and I think they put in posts. If you need someone to show you where the posts are, we can do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Why don't you do that, Ann, please, so this gentleman is not getting bothered.
Yeah, I'll tell Patrice because she was the one that has done that. So I'll get in touch with Patrice and have her call.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd probably be the best one to talk to. I think she's the one that sent the pictures, right?
Yes.
You got pictures you can show me? That might give me a better idea of what I'm doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was told I cannot share those yet because they're just like in draft form, and I don't know why, but they're not comfortable sharing them yet.
Okay.
But it sounds to me like you're going to get a more definitive answer with someone coming in person.
Okay, I mean that's great. If I'm mowing on your lawn on your property, I'm sorry, and save me time and money not doing it.
Sorry about this.
Yeah, I'll have
right.
Patrice get in touch with you.
Do you have my contact info? Will you have my address? You want my phone number or anything?
I can provide that.
Okay, I can get it from Bill.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, very good. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks for your time.
Let us know if you don't hear anything.
What do you figure, a few days to hear back? How long should I wait?
Hard to know, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a week or two, but probably within a week. I imagine Patrice will get back in touch with you pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before
Very
you
good.
have to cut the grass. How's that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be mowing for a few weeks anyway, so.
Yeah.
There you go. We don't want the grass police to come get you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. I'm gonna sign off here.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Okay.
Bye.
All right,
Okay.
you want to talk about the Lake Dipmunk treatment?
Do we have representatives from Solitude Lake Management with us?
Yes, Keith Gazelle is here.
Okay, so just before you start, sir, I just wanted to say that I've got something in email today. I haven't even had a chance to look at it myself, but Solitude didn't put in a full recommendation yet. I think they want feedback from the board before they put in a specific proposal. But I'll fish out that document right now while the gentleman's speaking. Could you spell your name again, sir?
Sure, it's Keith Gazelle, Gazaille.
Go ahead, I'll let you speak.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, as Bill said, I think what we wanted to do was certainly have a conversation with the commission kind of before we put a final proposed plan together. But given some of the changes over the years and kind of the immersion of some new technologies, we thought that there were opportunities to make some modifications to the program to really try and provide a kind of better long-term management of the invasive plants, particularly the variable water milfoil. And secondly, this year was kind of the first year, I think, in the program's history where we ended up having to do some algae control. And I think we've seen kind of an increase in algae abundance, I'll say, over the last few years. And so oftentimes kind of increases in algae growth is indicative of changing water quality conditions. And so although 1 year is not anything to get too excited about, we thought that it probably did make sense to kind of take a look at and maybe do some more monitoring of water quality to kind of get a better understanding of what the baseline is, so that as we kind of move into the future, we can understand if there are any changes or if there is current existing conditions that warrant either further investigation or perhaps some sort of remediation to correct kind of a long-term potential problem. And so really what we have proposed or recommended is we have long been managing the variable water milfoil with a contact herbicide called Diquat. That's provided really effective control on an annual basis. However, because the Diquat herbicide is a contact herbicide, we don't get too much overall reduction in the plant infestation from 1 year to the next. We've really been managing about 10 to 15 acres for the last several years. And so, which is pretty common with that particular product. In 2018, I believe, a new product was registered in the state called Procellacore. And this particular product was actually kind of engineered and designed for the management of milfoil species. And we have been using that more regularly to control milfoil because it is a systemic herbicide. So we are seeing a better long-term reduction of the plant infestation over time by using that particular product. The other benefit is that it is highly effective on milfoil species. The use rates associated with the product are very low. We're talking more in the order of ounces to quarts to the acre, as opposed to gallons per acre. And I think the real nice benefit to this particular product, which is the case in Lake Nipmuc, is that the milfoil infestation is relatively fractured. And so it's kind of scattered in small patches around the lake at this point. And historically, there haven't been any systemic herbicides that really function well in kind of a small partial lake situation because of the potential for dilution and the need for relatively extended contact times with the target plants. But with Procellacore, it actually is absorbed very quickly into the plant. So similar to the contact herbicide Diquat, we can effectively get systemic level control kind of in these smaller patchy areas. And so we think it's probably worth considering for the commission to consider transitioning to the use of this product in lieu of, the Diquat. The one issue I would say is that it does come at a higher price tag, probably 2 to almost 3 times the cost of the Diquat. But the benefit in our experience is that it will provide multiple years of acceptable control. And, with some of the programs that we've had running, we've seen beyond 3 years of control. So when you kind of look at it over the term of, control, we're talking either the same cost or potentially a lower cost over that time period. So that was something that we certainly wanted to put in front of the commission and have a discussion about whether that made sense. Water lily control, I think we've kind of done that periodically over the years in Lake Nipmuc. Based on observations from 2020, it didn't appear as though the water lily growth was anything of any great management concern. However, with water lily growth, there can sometimes be localized impacts or impairments to, I'll say, recreational or access points that you may want to consider utilizing some small-scale management to kind of maintain those functions. And so here in the letter, I kind of just put, we think that if you feel that it is necessary, we shouldn't manage anything more than maybe 1 to 2 cumulative acres, meaning understanding there's probably, a few thousand square feet here, a half an acre there, kind of a thing, that we could manage with a topical application or foliar application of a glyphosate-based aquatic herbicide, which has been kind of the practice over the years. And then lastly was really algae management, where we used a copper-based algicide to control algae this past year. I think we kind of keep that in the toolbox, but probably warrants kind of a I'll say a reasonable investigation into, what has kind of caused kind of this increase in algae growth. And so what we had kind of recommended is really a preliminary level investigation with some in-lake water quality sampling for, the analysis of some baseline water quality parameters such as, pH, alkalinity, phosphorus, nitrogen, and those other nutrients that will help fuel the growth of algae. I think, conducting some more routine or periodic algae sampling to get an idea as to what the baseline assemblage of the algae is. And, with that, we can then, kind of look at seasonal and/or annual changes in that assemblage. I think the big concern is as we start to see increased algae growth, what can happen is we start to see I'll say a transition of healthier green algae species to what I'm sure most of you have heard about in the news with harmful algal blooms, these cyanobacteria or blue-green algae species. that have potential to produce toxins that could be harmful to the public health. So I think that's something that we want to kind of take a look at to see what we're dealing with, and if there is kind of any trend with respect to kind of increasing numbers of cells over time. Just another data point that we thought was important is to kind of take a look at temperature and dissolved oxygen. In deeper lake systems, what is fairly common, but what can happen is there is a thermal stratification that takes place kind of during the summer months. And so you kind of have a layer of warmer water on the surface, colder water on the bottom. And because the density gradients between those two water temperatures, there isn't any mixing between those two layers. So there's no reintroduction of atmospheric oxygen into that lower level of water. In lakes that have had the deposition of organic materials over time, there's enough organic material and microbial activity within those bottom sediments to use up the oxygen in that lower level because it's not being replenished from the atmosphere. And when you get low levels of oxygen in that lower level of water, there is potential for any phosphorus in particular that is bound within the iron in the sediment to resolubilize back into the water. And so what that is generally termed is kind of internal nutrient cycling. So you're taking nutrients that's been deposited in organic form, you're releasing it into the water, it turns into algal biomass, the algal cells ultimately die, sink to the bottom, and that just kind of, that nutrients is stored within the system, and it kind of keeps cycling through that boom and bust of algae growth, and that could be a trigger and or a means to fuel kind of some of the algae growth that we've been seeing. So the temperature and dissolved oxygen, I think, is important to kind of take a look at. I think the last thing that we thought was probably worth investigating, and I'm not sure that there is any, at least that I could find in our records, any bathymetry information. So kind of bathymetry is the kind of the depth contours associated with the bottom of the lake, and kind of understanding kind of where those deeper pockets are, how big they are, what is the sediment composition in those areas where there is potential for that bottom layer of water to go anoxic, or the absence of oxygen, kind of helps us understand kind of what the overall, again, what the internal nutrient load is to the system. So again, we thought that investigation was probably warranted given some of the changes in water quality over the past few years for the commission to consider.
Okay, thank you.
Ken, did you want this anymore?
Whoop, somebody needs to mute, please. And Mr. Chair, and Mrs. Mazar has her hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Ann.
Sorry, I didn't mean to have it up.
Oh, okay. I guess we're just looking for, what you normally have been doing seemed to be working, correct?
Yes, but I guess the only thing that I would add to that is that we're not gaining any ground. We're kind of.
So we're not losing any though, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay. So I guess what we need to do is, I don't know if you guys are going to go out and do your spring, go out and see what you see there and say, this is what we recommend, and give us a price for it.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
How you want to go by?
I mean, I think the only issue is if we want to use a different approach with respect to the way we manage the milfoil and the Procellacore in particular, we would need to amend the current order of conditions, because I don't think the original notice of intent filing didn't include that as part of the plan.
All right, well, we don't have an open checkbook for this. So I mean, if something's gonna go from $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 to $9,000, we'd have to all take a real big look at that.
Understood. Okay.
So, I mean, if we can stay, like I know in the past few years, you guys would look at it and say, well, you know what, this looks good, but this looks like it's getting a little worse. So maybe we'll not do so much on that, but we're gonna take care of this year. I guess if you guys go out and get a baseline of what you think you need to do this year, what's getting out of control, what's not, and then you come to us and say, okay, this is what we think you should do, and this is how much it's gonna cost. Can you afford to do it? I guess we have to go down that road, and probably, maybe that's something you guys can do before the next meeting, so we can you can get some numbers to us, so the board can go over them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Peter here. I'm a little confused, but so this is our standard treatment for the lake that we've done every year. I support, I think, the change of the newer, which would have a better effect, more control over the long term. But a lot of the other things I totally applaud and would like to see, but I don't know if we have the money for it. But help me, aren't we getting significant monies to pay for a study of the lake so that analysis might be getting done by somebody else this year?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So that this year is just kind of a maintenance.
Yeah.
And then let's spend this year to do the planning, and I'm not sure who's doing that and what the time frame is, but that would suggest maybe for next year's management plan.
Yeah, that would be definitely, this is the maintenance situation that we're in right now, I think, Pete, that we're trying to, we only allocated 3,000 or whatever the number is for lake treatment. So we got to try to use what we got to work with. Maybe we could get some donations from the Lake Nipmuc Association. Maybe we get some donations from some local business owners that have done it in the past. But right now, if we just had an idea of what it's going to cost to keep the lake in good, keep it without overgrowing any algae or having any overgrowth of whatever invasive species, then I think that's what we need to. That's what we need to come up with, right?
Okay.
Year.
That's correct.
Do you know the scope of whatever survey work is happening?
I do not. This is all kind of just come together. I do not know what they're doing or even when they're going to do it, but I know that there is a process that's getting started.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have some information sooner than later, and we can maybe share that with you. But I mean, just like to see what you would like to do, and what you feel, since you've been working at this on this lake, for a good amount of time, and and we'll just see what's going on.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay, so commissioners, I shared the letter that Solitude sent today. It's on the screen right now, but I also just emailed it to you and put it up online for your review. But basically just outlines exactly what Keith just said.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks.
So
I believe we have just housekeeping here. If you need a quorum, I can push this stuff off. It's I don't think there's anything, like accepting meeting minutes and ratifying, Beaver Dam breaching, that can all wait.
And we probably should wait till we have a quorum.
Yep. Do you want to set meeting dates other than, I was gonna suggest April 22nd, I believe it is, but,
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I mean-
Can we meet in person?
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, planning board, we meet in person.
yeah, are you doing a hybrid meeting, Damon, where you're online and you're in person?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it online just this last couple meetings, but everybody else has been there, and you can do both, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to have Dan there and make sure the town hall is available.
Oh,
If-
yeah, right.
If we were gonna do that, I mean, I noticed that tonight I came by at, 6:45, and there was something going on there. I don't know what, but.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we can get in there, I mean, I don't have a problem with it as long as everybody else is okay with it.
Yeah.
But I
As
mean,
long
if
as
it's
we can
easier
do
for
both
everybody,
Zoom and live, I'm all for it.
yeah, I mean, if everybody wants to just stay the way we're going, we can do that for another couple months. But I don't care, whatever everybody wants to do.
I will inquire about 422 having it at town hall, see if I can reserve that room.
Okay. Yeah, and see if
Um,
Dan's available too. He's a big part of the puzzle there.
Yeah, I understand, right. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, I don't think, I'm trying to think if I do have a list of loose ends, if you guys don't mind. Oh, so let's see, so you probably know, right, that I've been trying to get, Carl to connect with Matt Ledwig about for that supplemental and, environmental project. They want to have a kickoff meeting. It's not anything that has to happen in a public meeting. And Damon, you had asked if Carl could just take that over. I haven't been able to raise him. I was hoping he would be here tonight. But anyway, that's one thing that's going on. And then let's see. I got it. I don't know if all of you got it, but Bill Ambrosino put out a letter from the master planning committee looking for involvement from each committee, and I asked him if he's including conservation in that. I don't know if anyone has an opinion there, but it just let you know I'm waiting for him to say whether there is, if he's looking for someone from conservation to participate. And I believe that might be it.
Well, I got two other things for you.
Sure.
One is the item that we didn't discuss, which is 4, the mowing proposal.
Oh, thank you.
To be done before April 15th. I reviewed it, but I don't know what the job description was. So I'm a little concerned as who's going to say what gets cut and what doesn't, or and we only got one bid, right?
Yeah, my apologies. I could give you a little bit of an update on that. You want to go, Mr. Chair?
No, go ahead, because you're gonna probably say the same thing I am, so just go ahead.
Yeah, well, okay, so, given that the initial, the one bid we have is actually more than the endowment that we're supposed to have for forever, I'm trying to get other bids. I've got feelers out to a couple of contractors. Anybody's got ideas, it'd be great if we know it. And I was actually concerned about being able to give clear directions as to the mowing area. But I'm not so concerned about that anymore because the area that's outlined in purple pretty much follows the wooded area borders. And as long as somebody comes in through 34 George and then also comes in, at the end of the Pond Street Circle, they should be able to pretty accurately figure out where the mowing area is. And we do know that it's about 8 acres and needs to go to 4 inches high.
Right. What that doesn't ask, or I don't know, is there are some trees in that area that's not going to get cut with a bush hog. So I don't know if the plan is to clear cut everything, in which case they're going in with chainsaws, or are you just cutting the grass and brushy material? So
If we had a conversation, sorry to interrupt you, if we had a conversation with Bruce Roy about how he got to his bid, maybe you would find out some of that information, because I think that could possibly be the case. It's gonna require more than a brush hog.
yes, and that's why it's too expensive, and I don't think we can afford that. And I'm not sure the turtles need the trees cut, but I'm not the expert.
Well, the
Or
turtle,
I'm not sure. I know.
yeah, the turtle nesting area is only a small portion of the habitat management area, so you might be onto something there.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling them to go in there and cut 8 acres. If you got 3, 4, 6-inch trees growing out of the ground that maybe were small weeds at one point, I mean, now, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand the whole, the logistics of this whole operation. I mean, I mean, if there's just an area where the turtles nest and stuff that needs to be kept down, well, then that's one thing. But to go in there and everything that's grown wild in there, to go in there and clear cut it, it just seems like we're defeating the purpose of the open space. We're telling these people they can't grow trees, but then we're gonna go clear cut 8 acres.
I think the answer to that is that the tree, well, first of all, the trees in question would be considered, what do you call it, invasives, but also that the rationale was just making up for the space that has been mowed long enough where they consider it, where Heritage considers it habitat. I don't know.
Hello, Coffins. Peter here.
What's that?
Peter, did you want to speak? Oop. Anyway, I will continue to look for more contractors for you. But we definitely need to get some more bids.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if we come to the conclusion that we get 3 more bids and they're all close to that number, then, well, we know.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like it was high, but you know what? That's a lot of work out there too.
Yeah, just so you know, there were no details provided. So if anybody, can, if you want me to, I will. I'll contact Bruce and ask him how he came to that.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I believe that's all you got, Mike.
Oh, Joe B raised his hand. Hold on.
Sorry. Yeah. Hi. Before we close, I wanted to just introduce myself. I was in contact with Bill via email regarding 13 Blackstone Street. So.
Oh, my apologies. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys have a packed agenda. So we were just looking for a site visit to kind of get an idea of clearing some of our land between Willowbrook and the Sunrise Apartments, but there's a lot of like invasive, bittersweet and poison ivy, poison ivy the size of a tree. So what we wanted to ask is if we could get a site visit just to kind of get an idea of where we could, kind of what the buffer zone looks like, our property relative to the wetland resource there. And then we are also getting some, after we cleared some in the back, we cleared some more brush, and we ended up finding out that there's a pretty large stream coming through our yard in the back. And I think there's like almost like a gully, behind Emerson Street. The houses up there, they're on a higher grade. And then, so we just wanted to get your feedback on that and, what we need to maybe help backfill it or, dig it out or, anything like that. But if, I don't know if we can schedule something in the next month or so. It's not super urgent at this point.
Yeah, we should be able to get somebody out there. Maybe I can take a ride by. I'm gonna give you my cell phone number. Can you just shoot me a text?
Sure.
When you're done on the phone here, and then we'll try to coordinate a time when you're there, and I'll take a swing by.
Sure. Okay. I'm ready when you are.
508-889-5567.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
again, it's not super urgent at this point. Whenever you can get here is fine with me.
All right, well, I'll try to touch base with you in the next couple of days or beginning of next week, and we'll try to get it so you can, if you want to start doing something, you can.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, have a good night. Anything else, guys?
No, I'm all set.
All right, there a motion on the table?
Mike,
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I know we don't have a quorum here, so we'd have to stay on all night if we didn't do it.
yeah. Peter Coffin, you there to second?
He's muted.
Yeah, maybe so, huh?
All right, well, we're all here. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Talk to you later.
Yep, there's
Thank you,
Pete.
guys, everyone. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you for joining us.
No, thank you.
All right. All right, take care. I'll catch up with everybody later.
Good night.